We're going to revisit a project I had many years ago. This is kind of a Frankenstein project. It started out as a commercial product, but, well, first the clock broke, so that was replaced, and, well, you'll see. It's a neon clock that I kind of constructed a number of years ago.
The neon is not working. A couple of the diodes also appear not to be working on the clock. Ongoing issue with this one. The neon is not working because a capacitor or two on the inverter board has gone bad. For sure, it's a regular occurrence on this thing. It's something that has to be done on a regular basis, and by regular basis I mean every couple of years. It just eats the caps like they're going out of style. And this is an old clock. I put a digital one in because the made in USA too, by the way, the quartz clock module that had an analog clock, it failed. Probably just due to the proximity to high voltage on the neon. So I replaced it with a digital clock module.
This was actually a Cana kit, so I put that clock together years ago, but it was a kit.
And this particular unit just sits in my living room on top of my TV. It sits on top of my plasma set, right up at the ceiling in my media room. But as I say, every couple of years I have to change the caps out on this inverter because it's just an ongoing problem. So we will do it again. Lift the protective plastic top off. Oh, that's right, I got a switch on here too that's can't really move it too far. This is where you used to set the clock. So I left the hole in the back there because that's where you set the I think it's the switch that's bad. No, not the switch it's on. I put a switch on there to switch the neon power. This wall wart here is actually for the neon. Uses just a 12 volt adapter. So I'll just take this off and put the cord through here so that I can at least work on it. Gotta be careful that I don't break the neon because it's glass. Oh, well, isn't that interesting? Interesting. The switch just fell apart. Maybe that's why it's not working. Maybe that's why maybe the solder fractured on the switch. Well, we can certainly check that out. We'll just. This is switching 120 volts, so I have some heat shrink tubing over it. But yeah, that'll do it. As I say, the should probably be switching the low voltage supply and not the high voltage, but I set it so I could turn the transformer off. I've never turned it off, it's always on. But I gave that option so that the neon could be switched. And one of these little plastic supports, I should glue this back on because that's what supports the tube. But let's see if we can get the light working first. All right, let's see if the light lights up when I connect power. No, so it's not that. But I'm going to eliminate that switch because I don't think it's needed. I never turn it off. It's always left on. And the clock module itself, I'll just see if I can make the LEDs that are not working work. But let's, I'll just wire this on first. Put some heat shrink tubing over it. We'll wire it up so it's always on, that I don't have to worry about that switch giving me any trouble down the road. At the time, I think I put the switch on there because we turned the light out if we didn't need it. I think, if I remember right, at one time I had this in a bedroom and I turned the light out because it was too bright. But now I just leave it on. So I'll just remove the inverter board. It's just held in place with hot glue and change the cap that's bad. I forget which one usually goes bad. I think it's this one here. They've both been changed. There's two of them on here, and they oh, that capacitor burned up. Well, that little ceramic cap burned up. Look at that. You think that might be why it's not working? Probably may have done some other damage. There's a little ceramic cap in here that just turned to ash. Check that out. I mean, this thing operates at pretty high voltages, so these little transformers, or these little inverters, put out several thousand volts, so that may be where their fault is right now. That little ceramic cap there that's broken. Okay, I just want to see if I've got DC voltage getting to the inverter, because it may have damaged my adapter here. It went out a while ago, and I haven't done anything to it. So let's just see if there's any power getting in. No power. I think my my AC adapter is probably cooked. Pretty sure that's a DC adapter on this one, not an AC transformer. Yeah, it's a DC adapter. So I guess my my transformer over here has gone bad. That's too bad. More than likely, this inverter went bad and was drawing too much power when that capacitor shorted, and it burned out the power transformer over here. So we got 120 volts on our mains, but nothing on the output over here. I'm just going to check the transistor, because I mean, this thing may have shorted every which way, but Friday, and maybe further ahead, just to change the inverter. I'm sure I can find some others that'll power up a neon. Let's just see here. We'll check and see whether the transistor on here is shorted first of all. Because if it is, oh yeah. So I think either I'm going to have to replace the transistor on this and the adapter, or I might just replace the entire inverter with a suitable all-in-one, like a Transform Tech or something, neon power supply. That might be the best solution. It's just to replace that. I've got this little neon transformer here. Transform Tech International, made in Canada. This is a gas tube sine power supply. I think this will work. Let's just put this one in place of that one. I'll get rid of this old wall wart that's no good. Let's unplug that so I don't get a jolt when I disconnect the wires from here. And we'll just connect it up to this one and connect that to the tube. That should make this work. There we go. This other one, I'll just cut it. And remove the adapter completely with the take off the high voltage wires here as well, going to the neon. I'll just cut it. Probably just as easy just to cut them. There we go. Ooh. Okay, that's gone. What was it, 12 volts? I'm sure it was. $12 volts. Of course, the winding's open, so the little ceramic cap went nuclear. It overloaded the transformer and overloaded the chopper transistor, the switching transistor. It shorted, and then that caused the power transformer to overheat. As you can see, it should be measuring some resistance here, and the primary is gone open. So that's shot. This was actually a 12 volt AC output, so it wasn't even a DC adapter. It was just a transformer. But the little inverter board, wherever I did with it, that's shot. So we'll hook up this one and hook up the high voltage lead to the tube. Put it right onto the tube for that matter, and just stick this one inside here, and that should make this thing work. So I'll just hook up the 2 wires for AC. I'm not even going to bother hooking up the switch because I never turn this off.
See, that made you jump, but it didn't make me jump. That's just something's touching my amplifier audio in, and it just happened to be turned on. Use heat shrink tubing on here instead of, say, black tape for insulation on all the high voltage leads.
A couple of the LEDs are actually shot on the clock because there's a couple of them that are out, but they're wired in series with 3 others, and the other 2 are working. So a couple of the LEDs have actually shorted. So I won't be bothering with that right now. Okay, we get the high voltage leads now to go for the actual neon. This can just sit in the back here. The other side is a little shorter, so I'm not going to cut this one off. I don't want to risk damaging the tube, trying to strip it. So I'll just put this one on the side. Doesn't really matter, right? The other high voltage wire, get that over here. So this is around 3,000 volts this transformer puts out. I think it's 3,000. Should be listed on it, but it's quite high.
It's high voltage but very low current, but still, this is lethal. I think it's like 14 or 15 milliamps at a couple kilovolts, and that's enough to stop your heart just like that if you make contact with it.
Neon is very high voltage but very low current.
They can also last hundreds of years. I have a Canadian neon ray clock company clock that was built back in the 1930s. I've had it myself for probably 40 years, and it's never been turned off. I use the same transformer in it.
The heat shrink tubing over there. And
I took the big iron transformer out and put one of these in just because they're much more energy efficient than the big old transformer.
Now, providing that my tube is not damaged, when I power it up, it should light up blue. So let's see what it does. There it is. It's glowing blue. Okay, good. Excellent. Okay, I think I'm going to leave it at that. This little transformer has, let's put the rating on this one. It is, this is 1.6 kilovolts, this one. Some of them are higher. This is a lower voltage. 1.6 kilovolts, 14 milliamps maximum. It's still enough, though, to give you a good jolt if you grab onto the high voltage side. I'm going to just stick this inside here, and I don't even have to really do anything with it. I'll just stick it down with some double-sided tape. and throw this together, and that's gonna have to do. So there it is working. It's to say there's a couple of LEDs out. You can see 2 of them out there. You can see one right where's it, right there on the 12, and there's one out there. Those are actually LED failures. They've shorted because these are in series. That's why some of them look brighter too, eh? But anyway, someday I guess I'll get around to replacing the LEDs, but it's glowing again, and that's really all that matters. Looks kind of cool. It sits in my media room on top of my TV. I got a big plasma set, and just between the ceiling and the top of the set and the ceiling, this fits perfect. So that's where it stays.
Since I mentioned my antique Canadian Neon Ray Clock Company clock, there it is. You can tell it's old if you look on the top right next to the 2. You'll see the fill nipple, which is external, because that's the way they used to make them before they actually started putting them in the actual electrodes. There's one on the neon on the inside as well. These clocks go for a small fortune these days. Thanks for watching.